Hello YouTube! So it's finally been about 2 weeks. My finger is, I would have to say, like literally officially healed. It no longer itches, it no longer burns, and I know this is kind of a weird way to tell that it's done, but I can stick it all the way into my ear now. It fits in my ear canal comfortably like it used to, like this one does. And I don't know, for some reason my ear was just really, I was really able to tell that my finger was a lot bigger than it was supposed to be. Also, when I was like picking my nose or whatever, I would be like, why does it feel like I'm picking with my thumb? It felt huge to me. But the swelling has finally 100% gone down. 2 fingers compared side by side. And here's the side where the magnet is actually installed. And obviously it looks like a regular finger all the way around. There's no redness, there's no swelling, there's no itching, there's no burning. I can actually clap my hands now. No pain either. I can smack my hand on the tabletops again. I know I've mentioned it at least like 12 times in the past couple of episodes that even lightly smacking it on a surface was just violently excruciating. But now it's not. It's gone. It's done. I didn't think it would heal that fast. What I think really helped, and I know this is counterproductive, but it seemed to work for me. I was having my finger started to reject the magnet. It started to show early signs of rejection. It was swelling, it was red, it was hot, and a layer of skin came off. Not like, dead, not like skin falling off and I'm necrotic or something, but it's like peeling dead skin off of a callus. You know what I mean? It's just some dead skin or sunburnt skin that you just peel off. It came off like that. Just one single painless dead layer of skin came off. Well, later on that same day, as you can see from this little spot right here on my hand, I was playing with some hot glue. And I don't mean doing it the proper way with a hot glue gun. I literally had I was just using a lighter and hot glue. And I had looked away to go look at my dog or something, and the hot glue got too hot and it dripped onto my hand. And my genius brain said, it's still hot, it's still burning you, there's no cold water source around me, there's no liquid around me. So the first thing I did was stick it in my mouth, which yes, totally worked. It solidified right up, it stopped burning the hell out of me. But I guess when I did that, it induced bacteria it shouldn't, because when I pulled the hot glue off of my hand, it had created a small blister, because it was a probably at least a 2nd-degree burn. And when I had pulled that piece of hot glue off, it had torn the blister open, so it was a fresh blister that just got tore open, and it had been in my mouth. And the very next morning I woke up and the blister wasn't filled with liquid like every blister I've ever had. It was filled with pus. I've not once in my life. I've been the dumb kid who would get a blister on my hand, and instead of using a needle, I would use my teeth and just bite it open, and no fucks. It's no big deal. So for me to actually have something get infected is weird for me, because everybody's like, oh my god, you gotta take care of your cuts or they're gonna get infected. I've taken care of like 4 cuts in my entire life, and 2 of them were my magnets. The rest of them I practically were rubbing dirt in, and they still didn't get infected. So when I woke up and this thing was all inflamed and infected, I freaked out. But then I noticed something. My fingers stopped itching. My fingers stopped burning, the swelling went down, the whole 9 yards. It's like my body was focusing on this spot instead of this spot. And yeah, literally, no shit, no joke. I really legitimately left it alone. I let it get mad. I would poke it. I wouldn't clean it. I wouldn't take care of it. I just let it get infected and go stupid for a couple of days. And totally worked out for me because all the swelling went away and everything was fine. And I cut it open and I drained it and I cleaned it out. It's fine now. You can see it's just a hole. And there's a smaller one next to it from another drop of hot glue at the same time. But all of that made this go away. Oh, you can actually kind of see it. You see that small wrinkle in the skin on my fingertip? It looks almost like a raisin. That's what happened from it shrinking back down. It had, I guess the skin had grown that way. It grew swollen. So when it shrank back down, it made a little wrinkle. But it's going away. Every couple of days, I take another layer off, hot water or whatever. And it seems to work for me. The hole where the needle had actually inserted is no longer there. I don't know if you guys remember, but from the last video, there was still a very obvious black-brown spot on my finger. That was the scab covering the hole. It's gone now. There's still a very obvious scar-like pit where the needle went in. It definitely screwed up my fingerprint, but it didn't screw up my fingerprint so bad that I can't use my fingerprint scanner on my computer anymore. That it still works for that, which it didn't last week. So there's that. I'm definitely starting to get my sensitivity back. It has gotten, all my nerve endings are back to normal, to where it says it's back to the way it was before I put the magnet in. So from this point on, it's no longer healing. From this point on, it's my brain learning how to use it. So I'm going to be dealing with, I try to play around with certain things and see what I can notice. And you find some really strange things in your world. Like, I have this digital pH meter that I use to measure out my pH of my water before I give them to my plants, because orchids are really sensitive about their pH. And I never noticed it before, but there's a magnetic pull, and I couldn't figure it out because none of my other meters have a magnetic pull. And, part of me was like, maybe it was just an electronic in there, maybe my finger was reacting to the battery or something. So I took it apart, just to see what I was experiencing, because if you have a new sensation, you need to know what it is. When a baby has never tasted a pickle before, you give them a pickle and then you tell them that sensation that you just experienced is called sour. Well, apparently the experience I had felt was caused by a very tiny electromagnet on the inside of the pH meter. The pH meter apparently was sending electricity into the water and would pass that through the electromagnet, and depending how the electromagnet changed, it would tell you the pH. And what's weird is my finger is actually sensitive enough that I don't even need to look at the pH meter. I can feel the magnet. I'm doing what the pH meter is doing. So that was really, really cool for me. I do not feel my phone whatsoever, whether it be calling, texting. I don't feel anything. I don't feel any Bluetooth. None of that. There's nothing coming off this phone. I don't know where that idea came from. It was a good question, but that's a strange question at the same time. But just for your reference, I don't feel this. Now, something I do feel that started to scare me at first are hard drives. My hard drive right here is just an external hard drive just for video games and whatever. And then, of course, my hard drive that's actually on my computer right here. I can feel it very, very, very well. Of course, the hard drive on my computer is underneath my right hand, so I don't feel it unless I'm trying to. Which it actually did help me diagnose a problem with my external hard drive. My wire, for some reason, my computer said it was connected, and the hard drive's little connection light said it was connected, but my computer wouldn't actually transfer any information back and forth. It kept saying that there was something wrong with my USB connection, or that I needed new drivers or whatever, and I've had this thing for 6 years. I don't need anything new for it. So I was trying to figure out what was going on, and then it dawned on me. Use your magnet. And I put my hand on, and I was able to remember the difference between what it felt like when my hard drive was running properly and what it felt like when my hard drive wasn't running properly. And what I found out is there was actually one of the 8 little prongs that are in there had a short in it, and it wasn't getting power properly, so it was doing this. You wouldn't hear it, obviously you wouldn't see it, but normally a hard drive is spinning and spinning. This one would do like a DVD player that's trying to read a scratched DVD. It would and I could feel it trying to kick, but it wouldn't kick and spin all the way around. So those are just a few things that my magnet has legitimately helped me notice and feel, and it's been neat to actually be able to feel this in my real world, because, you know, most people, the most important thing that they can do with their magnet is, you know, oops, well, that didn't work out. That's why we got more of them. The best thing most people do with their magnets is just, ha ha ha, look, it's magic, I can lift a needle. Well, I can't, but I think I can. My magnet's very, very tiny. Ah! It worked for a second. And since it's so tiny, there we go. If I get it balanced and I keep the needle still, it will stick. But if I start to shake it, and it'll stick still, but there it went. Comes right back off. So I imagine I would be finding more and new interesting ways to feel the world around me. And it's been a wonderful experience, it really has. The only thing that I noticed that seems like it's going to affect me for the entirety of my magnet implant is I'm a very double-jointed person. If you have some like weird aversion to contortion, look away now. But my favorite, I can't crack my knuckles like this. I can't do it. It doesn't work. I have to bend my hand back to do it. You can see I can do it all the way back, and I can do it flat too without bending my wrist, just to prove that it is in fact just my finger doing it, not my wrist. So I'm very double jointed. But when I bend this finger back, I'm not saying it can't bend back. I still can totally bend it back like I've been doing since I was 4, but it hurts to do it. It feels like a string is pulling from the inside, like the skin is anchored to the bone now. Instead of being free-flowing to where your skin can come off and move around, it feels like it's stuck and it doesn't want to move. So when I bend my finger back, it stretches that string, and that's painful. But other than that, it's not painful, and obviously something that I've been doing for my whole life isn't painful to me normally. So that made me sad. But I'm 20 years old now. I really doubt anybody is ever going to care that I'm double jointed ever again. That fad kind of disappeared by 6th grade. But you know, it'd be cool to show my kid, or my grandkid, you know, look at Grandma, she can turn her hand all the way around, you know. But it's no big deal. Let's see, any other problems? I will be installing the other magnet. What I'm waiting for is for the pinky to heal or my ring finger to heal, because the pinky obviously rejected, and you can see, if I can get it on the camera just right. Come on. Well, there we go. You see the little bitty scab? right there, so it's not quite healed yet, and I don't want to go into it again and damage the finger again back to back, because it's only had 2 weeks to heal. Now, the one that's had 2 months to heal has made great strides in the past week or two. It still has this weird pitted look. It still looks like a hole, but it no longer has that weird... I had this weird mass of nerve endings sticking out. It looked like a wart on the side, and it was extremely sensitive. That's how I knew it was a mass of nerve endings. And I looked it up online, and I figured out that the scar tissue had actually choked the nerve endings out, so where they started growing abnormally. So I figured out what I had to do. All I had to do was just lube it up real good, make sure it stayed moist, and wrap it tightly. And when I did that, after about 4 days, the wart stuck to the other side of the pit. So it did look like an opening with a ball or a wart right here. And now it's like this, and the wart is no longer a wart, it's closing it together. And it's no longer super sensitive. All I'm waiting for is for it to go ahead and close up fully. But considering that this one was done by the scalpel method and it had a lot more damage to it done than this one did, it's going to take a while to heal. I might go ahead and still put the magnet in this finger anyway, regardless of the fact that there's a pit, because the only reason why the cut's on this side of the hand is because I cut it to implant the magnet on this side of the finger. Well, I'm doing the injection method, so I could just go from this side of the finger. And that's how I plan on doing it. Other than that, that's all I got. So, see you next week.